Welcome to Transformational Fighting Arts Online. I'm Sifu Marcus Lovemore. What we're going to be doing today is trapping, but more combative trapping, and how to generate power within your trapping systems. So, before we get to that, you have to understand that this is more of the expert and the advanced system. So if you haven't gone over how to generate power in your hip, or the pack sow, lop sow, and the ball and socket and the hinge door, you might want to go and take a look at some of those videos to kind of understand what we're talking about, because I'm not going to go over those in these videos. So, trapping, combative trapping, and generating power in your trapping so your trapping actually leaves a mark so that you don't have to play patty cake with your opponents, and so that it actually does what you want it to do. First, like I'm going to always say, is your trapping is a transitionary range. So you don't want to stay there. This is not a range. You want to stay in. You're moving through this range like water flowing down a hill. You're using it to get to someplace else. It is a means to an ends. It is not an ends to a means. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be teaching you how to use your hip within your trapping motions. We're going to use some of the other things that I've done before, the ball and socket and the hinge door principle, and we're going to teach you how to really generate power within those two techniques, okay? Some technical stuff in there, okay? So, Nick, come on over. So, we're going to do just like we did in the hinge door and the ball and socket technique. All you got to do is put your arm up in front of Nick, and we're going to do the hinge door first. Nick is going to hit and block my arm out, and you're going to hinge door him just like usual, okay? But what I really want you to understand in this process is what the hips are doing, right? When he blocks you, right, I want you to actually put your front hip and chamber your front hip. But remember to keep your front elbow pointed at Nick, so it hinges back, so you reach for him. So this rear hip, you almost become square to Nick. See, so I'm at a 45-degree angle, and when he blocks, I become square as I reach for the lop sow, right? You keeping this elbow in stationary, so it's pointing at him as you hinge this arm, and then when you step down and you spring out, pulling on this lop sow and hitting out, hammer fist or straight punch. One more time. He hits, hit, right? One more time. Hit, hit. Do you understand the chambering of your hip? As you reach and you get your arm out of the way, but your upper arm is still pointing at him, right? Your upper arm doesn't coil this way. It just reaches, it just hinges at the elbow. The upper arm stays stationary. Big issue is pointing your elbow at Nick when this is happening. You reach over and you grab, and you want to tug him as hard as you can, like the lop sow, and hit upside the ear, the neck, or you can throw a straight punch, okay? One more time. Bang. You understand? See that? Bang. See? Bang. That is what I want. But I really want you to understand, without this hip generation, without rotating your hip, you can't get any power in your trap. And then he will not respect this punch. You'll hit him, and he'll just hit you with this other hand, okay? Generally, how Wing Chun and some of your Kung Fus go is they just use the energy of the arm to trap the arm. But that's not good enough. In combative trapping, he has to notice your punches, and every punch he needs to notice. It needs to disrupt him, bam, every time you do what you're doing, okay? So the second one, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the hip motion on the ball and socket, okay? The ball and socket, he's going to do the thing, but he's going to hit you to the outside, right? He hits out. So the big thing, once again, this hip coils in, and what you want to do is take that energy and, like your spring, compressing down, and as you do that, that's when your pack sow explodes out and you hit, right? And you take the energy and explode out. See how my hip recoils? This hip recoils down and hits, right? And you explode through that hip, right? When he hits, hit. You understand? You don't just sit here and go, right? It's no patty cake. It's not that. It's bang, right? You hit, right? So, thank you, Nick. So, of these two things, the the hinge door, remember, when you're doing it, you're reaching forward, keeping this elbow, looking at your opponent, grabbing and spreading him out and hitting him, okay? The ball and socket, when he hits this, you take the energy into your hip and you explode out of that hip. You explode out of that hip, okay? Those are the two ways that you generate power. All of your trapping needs to look like this. If you're not generating power from your hip in your trapping, what's going to happen is you're going to hit people, they're not going to respect your hits, and it's not going to work. This is one of the reasons you don't see much trapping in some of the full contact systems, is because one, it's very hard to understand the sensitivity, and two, most of the times it's not taught with this hip generation. You have to disrupt your opponent's stance and style in order to make this work, okay? If this was helpful for you, please go to my donation page and donate something, because all of this free material is done through your donation. So I really appreciate that. I'm Sifu Marcus Lovemore. If you want to get in touch with me, you can go to one of my blogs. You can write a comment right down there, or go to sifu@masterytrainingsystems.com. I'm Sifu Marcus Lovemore. This is Transformational Fighting Arts Online. Thank you very much.